Yo, 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 yo. What's up, all you burners, stoners, and potheads out there? This is Weedman 420 with the Weedman 420 Chronicles. How are all you vipers doing out there this evening? Mrs. Weedman, how you doing?
Doing well.
That's great. Always doing well. Nothing
Always.
else? Nothing else? You ain't
Doing
got
well.
nothing?
I'm doing well.
She's doing well today. So we have a smoke Sesh session here today, and we have a very special guest. His name is Dennis O'Neill, and he is the president and CEO of Biomedican Corporation. Dennis, how you doing? Welcome to the Weedman 420 Chronicles show.
I'm doing amazingly well. I'm doing TNT Dynamite Nuclear today.
Whoa.
Well, I know what TNT is. It usually means explosions. So was there any explosions involved today?
I don't know. Hopefully it'll all happen on the show.
Well, I know we're going to explode a big fat bowl, Mrs. Weeman and I, here in a minute. So, but we're so glad to have you on the show. We're super excited. We read the website, and we want to thank everybody for getting this show together. So, but I'm going to ask the question I ask everybody that joins this show. It's just the question I ask because I smoke cannabis. So I'm going to ask you, you smoke weed because?
I actually smoked weed for 30 some odd years, but my lungs can't take it anymore. I take CBDs and edibles now.
There you go.
I take them mostly because now, I mean, as I'm getting a little bit older, it helps with inflammation. It helps with pain. It helps with just chilling me out, just being less stressed, and helps me sleep at night.
Love it. Love it. I am a huge user of edibles. We love edibles. Mrs. Weedman has actually kind of timed herself on her edible use. We just talked about it on a few episodes. We've been talking about it all along, teaching people how to use edibles correctly. And what was cool was that she takes an edible about an hour, 45 minutes before she goes to bed, but then we smoke before we go to bed. So right when she's in bed and the high of the smoking comes down, the edible kicks in and she is night, sleepy sleep. So we love edibles on this show. And we love weed. So we're happy to have you on, and glad that you smoked for 30 odd years and now use edibles and tinctures and use CBD in your life. And I'm glad it helps you out with pain and sleep and relaxation and inflammation. That's great. So Mrs. Weeman and I are going to smoke, and we're going to smoke our home grow. And while we smoke, tell us about yourself. Why our listeners should get to know you and who you are. I know you're a Chicagoan guy, which is a fellow home team, baby, home team. The White Sox are doing well. The Cubs are in the shitter. Looks like the Bears might have a good team. The Chicago Bulls, baby, they're on another planet right now. Boom, boom. And then it looks like the Blackhawks might come back around a little bit. So home team, baby, right there. So good stuff. So give us a little bio about yourself, a little history while Mrs. Weeman and I smoke our home grow. We want to hear about you.
Okay, sounds good. Well, my background is over 25 years of investment banking experience, and I've spoken at over 75 conferences globally as an expert on private equity and venture capital and blockchain, and now on cannabis. I have been involved with Biomedican since 2019, and basically what got me involved in this space is that I've been following the cannabis space for about the past 15 years. I did some of the early REIT deals in cannabis when, because it was federally illegal, no banks would take your cash. And so all these grow operations and retail operations, they couldn't figure out how to get cash into the bank. So we would set up a company that was strictly a real estate company, and then we would set up another company that was the grow or retail operation, and whatever they made from the grow operations and retail was exactly how much the rent was every month.
Ah, clever.
Sounds like something from Scarface when he was going to the bank with those bags of cash, and they would put the tax man would throw about 10% interest on there for him for every million he had to put in the bank. So is that how it kind of worked a little bit?
They didn't have to pay anything on this, so that was great. I mean, and the investors of the REIT, they made good money too, so that was great. But I'm looking forward to the day we get this federally legalized, because it's just so an antiquated laws and regulations right now, and it's just so unnecessary. I mean, all the states have ruled, cannabis to be, or not, 19 states now, something like that, have ruled that cannabis legal, and it's about time the federal government comes around and makes it legal. So there are no, that lowers all the, regulations.
Yeah. So before we go into Biomedican, let's talk about federal legalization. I told you I might throw you a curveball or a zoomer every once in a
Not
while.
a problem.
So
Yeah.
do you know, I read a lot. I read about 100 to 150 articles a week. I especially am trying to figure out the federal legalization part, just more about what I just read about Cory Booker and Schumer talking to President Biden, try to get him on board about their new plan. I am not 100% sold in that new plan that I read. I like a little bit of that plan. I don't know if you've read anything about it or not yet, but the taxes they're going to charge on it, I don't see it happening because Biden's not 100%. But what do you know maybe that I don't know or our listeners out there don't know?
Well, understand this is that it's the cat's out of the bag. I mean, it doesn't matter what the federal government does now. All the states have legalized it, in defiance of the federal laws and regulations. So the next best thing to do is to regulate it themselves and to tax it. I'm not a big fan of that, what they're going to try to do either. But the big problem that we have is that there would be a lot more opportunities and money flowing and investment flowing into the cannabis space if it wasn't for the fact of that, that a lot of people, that just won't invest in this space because it's not federally legal. So I would say year 4 of Biden's administration, they'll probably do it. They've got higher priorities right now that I think that they'll probably go through. But so we're a couple of years away from them doing anything. But I think ultimately they're looking for money, and I'm not too big of a fan of what they're going to try to do on the taxation side. But hopefully that will be offset by bigger markets, wider markets, more demand, and that maybe everybody can participate a little bit better into this market. And people and more people will be able to benefit from the health benefits of cannabis.
100%. 100%. That's, exactly what you said and exactly what I've read and been learning about the federal legalization of it. They can't stop it. It's already, if they try to now, the states would go crazy. And actually, I think there would be riots and people would be going crazy on the streets because they want their medicine.
Hey,
so
the states are already addicted to the tax money.
Oh, my God. Did you just see Illinois' numbers for July? Thank you, Lollapalooza, $127 million in sales, rec sales in the state of Illinois for July. Top month to date.
I seen a radio ad, a proponent of the cannabis markets, and I forget what, but there was a lady saying that she sent more money in taxes than she made. So it was like, so,
well, when
the government is doing much better. She says the operators, they're still running on a thin margin, and, and the states are getting just massive amounts of money.
Huge. Illinois is going to probably now do about 1.3 billion, 1.4 billion in 2021. Taxes will be around $120 million that the state will benefit from that. That's huge, huge money. And what
but
they
it would
do
be
with
even
it,
better. It would be even better to see.
I would imagine it's got to be more than. I think isn't it? Aren't they taxing like 25% or something ridiculous?
It depends on the.
So they get local tax too, right?
Right. There's the 3% tax. The municipalities can tax it 3%, up to 3%. The laws are crazy, but with the THC content, when they tax that up to 33 or 35% on just say the cartridges, the oil cartridges, some of those concentrates are 90%, and you're taxing 30% on that. A cartridge, a full gram cartridge, can cost somebody with tax over $100 today. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy, nuts. So. Well, I'm glad to get your opinion and your knowledge on federal legalization and states and stuff like that. It's awesome. Tell me a little bit about your company and tell us about Biomedican and what it's all about. Okay. I have some other questions in this too, but I really want to know about your company. I've read a lot about it on the internet, and I've read about watched a YouTube video about you on some talks you did. I want to hear from the man himself, though.
Yeah, it's well, basically the problem that we're trying to solve is that the next generation of CBDs, which will be CBG, THCV, THCA, which are these very rare cannabinoids that show up in very, very minute amounts in the plant. So it's almost impossible to do a grow operation and harvest, just 1% of the plant to do, these rare cannabinoids. It's just economically not feasible. Although that these rare cannabinoids have very, very significant health benefits and very specific health benefits that are beyond CBD. So we looked at this and we came up with the solution that if you biosynthesis, that we developed a biosynthesis platform to where that we use biosynthesis to produce these rare cannabinoids, CBG, THCV, and we can produce a 99% pharmaceutical grade compound that is organic, non-GMO. It's bioidentical to what occurs in nature, which means it's exactly the same. And we can do it for about 70 to 90% less than other methods. And we utilize 90% less natural resources and energy. So it's green energy, it's sustainability. So now what we're able to do is that we're able to deliver super high quality, rare cannabinoids, and we're able to do it for, 70 to 90% less than what the current markets are. And they're higher quality because they have zero toxins and zero contaminants. And it's, it's when I say bioidentical, it's exactly 100% the same as what occurs in nature. There's nothing more, nothing less in it.
So there's one second, let me just be clear on this. So there's no CO2 extraction, no butane extraction, anything like that. So you're saying full sustainability, no GMO, none of that. So none of that what they're making with THC today when they're using the extractions to make distillate, to make cartridges and resin and all that stuff.
No, it's in fact it's so bizarre. It's basically what we use biosynthesis is water, sugar, and the specialized yeast.
Almost like beer.
Yeah, no, it's
Close.
just like fermenting beer. It's almost exactly like fermenting beer. The process is almost identical, except for that there's certain steps that we do that we can target specifically, to generate certain cannabinoids opposed to whatever we're targeting, and that's the crazy part. So we are producing rare cannabinoids without touching the plant. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is crazy. And, basically what we're saying is that we're here to partner with, the grow operators that are creating brands, CBDs and things of that sort. We're here to anybody that has, large retail distribution of CBD. What we're saying is grow the weed to smoke, grow the cannabis for the CBDs, but for the rare cannabinoids, which are very, very hard for a cultivator to produce, or buy them from us. We're just a wholesaler. We don't compete in the retail market, and you can put these into your own products, and you'll make more money. You'll have a better product. You'll have products that will be that you can, instead of just doing CBD, you could have a CBG product. You could have a THCV or a CBN. You could do different products, and you'll make more money. It'll be less work for you, and you'll be able to deliver more vast health benefits at a cheaper cost to millions of people.
So it does not start off from a bud of cannabis. It is completely whoa. That's crazy.
We don't touch the plant. I mean, because that's one of the processes for us, and for us is that we want to support the cannabis market, because what we're actually doing is cannabis therapeutics. It's identical to what occurs in the cannabis plant. And what we want is that we want the grow operators to thrive. We want the CBD guys to thrive. We want to help them to be able to produce more products, more different products that have more specific health benefits, and to be able to do it, with us as a partner. And I think ultimately everybody will win in that scenario.
Yeah.
Wow.
And how do you come up with like a dispute to someone who is like a real purist at heart, who just says, this shouldn't be something that's taken to a lab. This is cannabis.
Sure.
It's my tree. It's my plant.
No,
How do you?
I 100%. I mean, I 100% agree with those people. For the people that just want to do CBD and just want to smoke weed, I think that that's what you want to be. You want to be a purist in those markets. To do the rare cannabinoids, your cost is going to be 10 times, maybe 20 times, maybe 30 times more expensive. I don't think it'll be economically feasible, unless you're super rich, to be able to buy these products and use them.
Yeah.
I had heard to get a liter of CBG, just a liter of it, takes over 100 cannabis plants because you get so minute of it. Same thing with THCV. To get like 1 liter of it, compared to like THC, 30 liters you can get in no time from a plant. But to get these rare cannabinoids, and we've talked about all these cannabinoids on the show many of times, and updated our listeners on these rare cannabinoids and what they can do for their body, how hard it is to get, because there's companies out there now, cannabis companies making specific edibles with CBG in there, with CBN. CBN right now is the hot new cannabinoid because it produces sleep. CBG is the coming right behind it right now, about being the next cannabinoid for relaxation and inflammation, and to help your body just be nice and just feel normal. I have a friend of mine who is looking for strains to grow that are high concentrations of THCV, and the only strains that you can find are landrace strains that are very hard to get, that are really legit landrace strains that have that THCV in there. So with this process of some of these cannabinoids that I've studied and read, I'm so confused about the process, because it's not coming from the plant. To me, it's all about the plant. You know what I'm saying?
No.
It's just, and these are great cannabinoids, because I've had people on the show before. Jason from Illinois News Joint. We've talked about asking growers, can you grow a plant and bring back all the cannabinoids? We want all the cannabinoids in our plant. We want to smoke them all. I know CBN's a little bit harder because that's when the plant's getting a little older, so that CBN is produced. But to be able to get all those cannabinoids in one plant again, because we grew it out of it. We grew all those cannabinoids out. They're so hard to grow in a plant now, because all we've grown is for THC and CBD over the hundreds of years this plant's been, I mean, thousands of years, millions of years this plant's been on this earth. We've grown those cannabinoids out of that plant. And now we're finding out, I mean, there's over 100 cannabinoids in that plant, and we don't even know what else is in there. We haven't been able to study it, so there could be more to this plant. But I'm just so confused on how you produce this. I don't understand.
Let me give it to you this way. It's CBG is the next highest percentage of cannabinoid in the plant outside of THC.
Yeah, you see about 1%. You see about 1% a lot in cannabis when you're getting
but all the other rare cannabinoids, they drop off significantly, less than 0.5% for the majority of them. And, based upon our research, there's about 200 known cannabinoids now. And, we actually discovered a new class of cannabinoids called Sesh.
Give me the news.
There's your TNT.
There's the TNT, baby, right there. Mr. O'Neill gonna come hard. All you Burma stoners and pods out there.
Yeah, so we discovered it and we filed a patent on it. It's Sesqua, SESQUI CBG or CBGA, and basically it has a lot of the same components that CBG does, but it has some additional properties that we believe that will make it significantly better than just CBG.
Damn.
So we're going through some research studies with some universities now to try to gather some of the data of exactly what the specific health benefits would be to do that. But to go back to our original question, is that at the end of the day, is that I'm 100% supporter of the plant, but if you cannot, if it's not economically feasible to be able to harvest these rare cannabinoids at a price to where the people can afford to pay for them, is it our method ends up to be, if you're a purist, maybe you don't do it. But if you're just looking for the health benefits, I think that this is a great solution for millions of people to be able to get super high quality, zero toxins, zero contaminants, and get something that is significantly less expensive.
Sure.
So so let's go back to this real quick. So Epidiolex, it's a CBD, medical grade CBD that they use for patients for seizures. It's very expensive. It's like $35,000, $40,000 a year for a prescription of Epidiolex. It works. It's been proven to work. It's pharmaceutical grade. I've never taken it, but I mean, and there's people out there that use it.
I have a niece. I have a niece that used to have 200 seizures a day that went on CBD oils through a prescription, and she's down to zero.
Wow! Congratulations. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've definitely seen it. I mean, and they had her on so many drugs that were so toxic for her system, it was sickening. That when she got off all those toxic drugs that they were giving her, and she just was taking the CBD oil, she got better.
Isn't that crazy?
That's awesome.
One natural
So
because a handful of that were poisoning her. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, sure.
So the cost of that Epidiolex is $35,000 to $40,000 a year. What if this was medical grade to help patients? What would be a cost to just say for a patient? She said it's low cost, and I'm just asking because you're.
Yeah, I mean the problem that we have.
And
the problem that we have here is that it's the cost for us to produce it, and then we sell it to somebody, and then they sell it. And when you sell it into the medical market, they usually mark up stuff 900, 1,000%, 2,000%. So for us, to be able to do, we can produce these rare cannabinoids at $1 or less a gram.
Damn.
And I know. So the idea here is that, so we can bring the cost down so that, the people that are selling the CBD or selling the flower, they can develop their own products around this. They can add it into their CBD and differentiate themselves into the market. They have a great CBD and they add some CBG, or they add some THCV, or they add some CBN, or some of these other things. So the idea here is that it's a solution to a problem, which is that the problem is that it's very, very costly, almost very, very costly to be able to produce this in cultivation. I mean these rare cannabinoids show up in such minute amounts. Now they're genetically modifying plants to produce more CBG, and I mean I've heard of plants producing as much as 2% CBG. So, they're genetically modifying them, but still it's, I guess if you're purist, you might want to go that way. But if you're looking strictly for the health benefits, I think, this is another option for you.
So is this a liquid? It's liquid based?
Yeah, we can do liquid or powder.
Okay, so let me ask, can you
oil? No, it'd be an oil or a powder. It's not,
oil.
Oil.
So could you use this to make edibles with?
Yeah, anything. It can go into anything. I mean, our stuff will be going into granola, cereals, protein drinks.
So I'm going to ask you another question. My eyes are, my head's going crazy right now. So with that being said, it could be sold to cultivators that make edibles throughout the world, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
And since it's not THC, you can direct distribute from your facility to anywhere around the country, because it's not federally illegal to sell CBD.
No, I mean, CBD. Yeah, we don't touch the plant because we use a yeast and we produce 0.0% THC. Wow. Now we can produce THC, but we don't want to touch those federal or state regulations.
Not yet, you don't. Yeah. Not yet, you don't.
Well, no, I mean, the only So yeah, I mean, all the federal and state regulations here in the United States, Canada, and Europe are all around if you touch the cannabis plant or if you produce THC.
I'm fucked up right now because you could produce THC. You could produce THC with your process.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm in.
It's just the beginning.
I want to try it. I want to try all of it. I'm so high right now and highly interested. I need to get my hands on some of this.
Well, something, we're going into Mexico and we're going to set up a production facility down there, and they're legalizing everything in Mexico in September.
So it is September, because I just read an article again today saying that it's still not there yet. So
it's not there yet, but it goes to the Supreme Court, and it's going on the court. I think it's September 6th or something like that.
Where in Mexico?
Can't tell you.
Not exactly where, but like a region of Mexico. I might want to move next door.
Wherever the capital is, Mexico City, I think, right? Or wherever the capital is. I don't know where the capital is, but that's where the Supreme Court would be. Yeah.
So I told you we like to joke around the show and have some laughs.
Sure. No, I'm having a good time.
Good. That's what I wanted to hear. He's having a good time. So he's a stoner, burner, and pothead. I love it.
Yeah. It ain't a crime to have a good time.
That's it.
That's right.
That's it. So what's some of the biggest lessons you learned growing a biotech startup cannabinoid company industry? I mean, what have you learned so far besides all the great stuff you're telling me right now? Because I'm
I mean, it's been brutal, to be honest with you. I mean, growing a business like this is very, very difficult. First and foremost, when you're in biotech, you got to file all these patents because you're going to develop this technology. And then, in the early stages, you got to pick a path forward. And if you don't pick the right path, you're in a very, very bad shape. We just had one of our patents that was approved by the U.S. Patent Office. So we're one of two companies in the world that has patents to be able to produce what they call a lipotolic acid. I know that, which is what they convert all cannabinoids into. And so us and Aurora Cannabis are the only ones in the world that have a patent on this process. And so that was very important, and that was very risky because we didn't know if we would get a patent issued. Raising capital has been very, very difficult because, a lot of people is that you've got the cannabis purists that are like going, it'll never work. And then people will never buy it. And then now you see it that we have it. And it's like, well, maybe people would be interested in it,
Mm-hmm.
And
I think here's what I'm going to give you my opinion on that. And sorry to interrupt. Because
no, not a problem. I do it all the time.
I'm a purist, and I believe in the plant, and I believe the plant should be free. This plant was put on this earth for a reason, for us to use holistically, and you can grow it almost anywhere around the world. I mean, I grow it here in Illinois, so basically you can grow it anywhere around the world. If you can grow it in Illinois, you can grow it anywhere. So me being a purist and have smoked weed and seen weed and used weed for a very, very long time in my life, as yourself, I think it's beneficial because you're not using anything that doesn't come from the earth. Yeast is a natural born element that floats in the air. You breathe in yeast, right? I'm trying to get my listeners to understand this because there's a lot of purists that listen to us, and I want them to understand this in a good way. So you have yeast, you use water.
Yes. Purified.
It's purified water. So you use water and you use sugar. That comes
organic
from
sugar.
Organic sugar. Now, does it come from just sugar cane, I presume?
Sugar? It comes from sugar cane. Basically 80% of the biosynthesis process is sugar.
So as a purist, that is a craft beer in its whole right there, because you would add, the only thing you're missing is malt, to make that. And what it does, it makes sugar the yeast go in and fucking eat it and piss out and fart CO2 and piss sugar, basically. So that's what yeast is. That's what it does. Yeah. So I'm so dumbfounded on how this process works to create all these cannabinoids. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah,
is it a form of the yeast? There's so many, there's billions, isn't there millions of yeast strains out there?
Yeah,
so
this is a specialized yeast called Yaria leptolytica.
I like her already.
That was one of those words I had to learn.
I like her already. So okay. So for all the listeners around the world, we're in over 100 countries around the world. We just hit our 50,000 download. We're super happy around the world. So this is world that you're talking to people about. So listen out there, all you burner stoners and potheads. It's yeast, sugar, and water to make these cannabinoids with nothing else that you're telling me, nothing else. I'm trying to get them to believe in something. So. And myself, I'm trying to believe it for myself.
There's a technical process to this. I mean, if they go to Biomedican, Biomedican, we lay out the technology pretty well there, as you know, just so people can understand it.
Gotcha.
But yeah, but you know, I mean, it all depends on what, you know, what level, because it does go through a fermentation process.
Just like beer.
We do go through you know, an extraction process, you know, so, you know, because we have to release it from the cells. So, and then, you know, so at the end is you have to purify it just like anything else to make sure that whatever you're delivering is a 100% accurate, 100% identical to what occurs in nature. It's got to be you know, it's 100%. It's exactly the same as what occurs in nature. There's nothing more. There's nothing less to it. It's exactly the same exact molecule.
So
amazing.
That's
well, and you know,
I'm highly intrigued.
Otherwise, you couldn't call it organic. You know, it's kind of the same process that stevia goes through. The, you know, artificial sugar, that goes through almost an identical process to what we use to produce artificial sugar, and they call that organic. And that's their, you know, and as long as that, when you end up at the end of the day with nothing more, nothing less than what actually occurs in nature, then it becomes organic. At least in Canada, United States, and Europe. I don't know about Asia.
I'm highly intrigued. I swear. I just so many questions.
I think that because you're filling this gap, as you say, of these really rare cannabinoids that we just can't accumulate enough of to make an impact, right? Once these become deliverable items that are going to go out to millions of users, there's no way that you could naturally grow enough of these cannabinoids. So I think when you talk about those rare cannabinoids, there's definitely going to be an audience for them once people understand them, right? It's just education. Sure. It's people understanding, getting the knowledge behind it. But then I think when you get into like the THC factor, we know that we can get enough THC because we know we can grow enough weed for that. I think that maybe you'll see more resistance on that end. But then at the same time, you're going to be producing, I would anticipate, a product that's so pure and so controlled, it will be used more on the medical end of cannabis use, right?
It's just about to say that basically where the people that love our product the most is on the medical side, because we can reproduce the same exact molecule every single time with zero variance. And every plant and every grow season has variance in it. You'll never grow the same plant. It's kind of like the wine. You'll never grow the same wine, you know, have the same wine every year. You'll never have the same plant or the same grow season every year. And those variants are hard for the medical market because they need the same exact product each and every single time, you know, especially in the pharmaceutical markets when they're doing clinical trials. But on the recreational side, I think that, we're here to support whatever can be done with the plant, because there are hundreds of cannabinoids that we can move into, that there would be no way for a cultivator to be able to produce it, that show up in like 0.1% of the plant, you know.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fascinating. I mean, just as you explore all of these different cannabinoids and that you're able to do research and discover all of the different ailments that these cannabinoids can help, it's going to explode. It's just exponential.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to deliver the maximum health benefits utilizing cannabis therapeutics. And that's, and it's whatever we can do to help as many people as possible with all these different health, medical conditions. If we could do it at, high quality and low cost, that's what we're targeting. That's what we're looking to do.
Gotcha.
Fantastic. That's great.
It's good to hear. I'm still not a believer yet. I might be at the end of the show.
So oh, come on, you're a believer.
I'm highly interested. I've said it. I am highly interested.
Listen, you can always reach out to me. I mean, do your research and let everybody make their own decisions. I mean, it may not be for everybody.
I think I'll be a believer if you let me try your stuff.
We'll send some over.
That's what I'm talking about. Live show with Dennis and Mr. Weedman. How Biomedican's cannabinoids, how do they potentially make shopping cheaper? I mean, you gave us the price, but what will it be in the market? Like, will it be on the retail shelf? I know I read some of your bio. I know there's some companies that might put it in their products, stuff like that. But what is it like the shopping? Is it going to be much cheaper since the cost effective is that will you see products on the shelf go down?
I think, yeah, for sure. Because I mean, people are going to be competing in this market. I mean, we're not selling it to one person so they can corner the market. People are going to have to be competitive with this stuff. And, you're going to see this in nutraceuticals. You're going to see it, as I told you, in like consumer packaging goods, like, cereals and granola and anything you can pretty much think of. And then you're going to see it in beverages as well. So it's going to be outside just the regular, cannabis market. It'll be going into the mainstream. And at the end of the day, we'll be selling this as a wholesaler to hundreds of different distribution partners, and they're going to have to compete on price. I mean, if somebody thinks that they're just going to be able to mark it up, and just rake in a bunch of money, I think they'll be undercut by somebody else who's distributing.
Right. Especially if there's a surplus of products, to sell to companies to use. Someone's going to go lower to get rid of their product. Of course, it's how it works.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you got to compete, and the idea behind this for us is that the reason why we're selling it at lower cost is so that they'll pass on the savings to the consumers, because for us to have a bigger market, we need the price to come down.
So the only cannabinoids you're saying that you're not making it right now is THC and CBD. You're sticking with the rare cannabinoids.
Yeah, no, we're staying out of that. And anything that's federally regulated, we'll stay away from that for sure. Because we want to be THC free. The CBD market, it's not worth competing in that market. Number one is that there is the entourage effect that a lot of people believe in. And, of the combined cannabinoids going into one product. And those are our distribution partners. So we want to support those people that are selling edibles, inhalables, and, all the, the flower and things of that sort, because they're ultimately going to be partners with us because they're going to buy our products and distribute it.
Gotcha. I had a question, and because you gave such a good answer in the last one, I forgot it.
Thank God I didn't do anything before I got in the show. We'd both be staring at each other.
No, I don't think so. Not when I smoke. There's a lot of staring going on, but also a lot of talking, a lot of chumming. This is our basement session, and Mrs. Weedman and I, this is our smoke sesh area every night, and we don't come down here and just look at one another. We come down here and have conversations. So this is what we love about the basement sesh. So
when you're talking about technology, sometimes you can be searching for words that won't come.
I bet.
The benefits of non-GMO organic cannabis compared to chemically synthesized compounds. What is it? Tell me about it.
Chemically synthesized compounds have a lot of toxins and contaminants in it, which are very, very bad for you. So anything that's chemically synthesized is GMO. And although that they may be able to still call it a cannabinoid, those are the ones that you do not want to touch, anything that comes out, because you'll end up with some toxins and contaminants that are GMO products. And ultimately, they are known not to be good for the human body and could be, potentially, carcinogenic, which could be, cancer producing. So anything that you hear that's chemically synthetic is typically really, really bad for the human body.
And so your product is organic.
Yeah, it's bioorganic because it is 100% identical to what occurs in nature, and that means it has nothing more or nothing less in it. It's exactly the same.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
it really is. Yeah,
I know.
How long does the process take from start to finish?
6 days.
Wow,
that's
not bad.
That's like better than beer.
And are you producing like thousands of gallons in 6 days, or
Yeah, no, we can do as big as we want. I mean, we're at pilot scale production, which is giving out, we're producing for samples to get large global distribution contracts right now. But we will be in large scale production in we're hoping Q2 of next year.
wow.
Full blown.
And so could hypothetically someone, say a local baker, wants to start making some CBN products, and could they come to you as a wholesale client and buy small quantities, or everything will be on the large scale?
Well, I mean, first you always start off with the large scale distribution networks. They're just typically easier to deal with. We may put together kind of like a kind of a portal to where all the small guys can come together and just and then kind of end up with a big order that ends up that goes through a distribution point into each location. So yeah, so we'll probably set up a portal to where that you get maybe 50 or 100 or 200 small orders, and they're packaged together, they're sent out, and then we have a distribution center that breaks them out and sends them out to the smaller guys.
Cool.
So you're looking for distributors, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's it's pretty easy to sell this stuff because I mean there's a lot of people that are looking for high quality, and knowing that it's no toxins, no contaminants, and that you produce the same product every time. I mean, that's the major concerns with major distributors is that, you can't have Coca-Cola that tastes different in each country.
100% right. Yeah.
You got to have the same product. So
except for McDonald's,
Yeah.
It tastes different. I've had this conversation on the show before. McDonald's is the only one that tastes different. Ask Mrs. Weedman.
Everywhere.
McDonald's has a contract that they get it sold in steel drums, and it has a special kind of cocaine sugar in there that they make. Biomedican.
Their soda.
Their soda.
Get out here.
Get out. Just kidding, everybody.
Fake. We'll be snorting CBG on the next show.
The best ways to get started investing with cannabinoid industry, and how to spot early trends. You guys have spotted an early trend, something that I'm dumbfounded by.
Yeah, no, I mean there's two ways to do this. One is that you can invest in companies that already exist on the market, either on the stock exchange, or that's pretty much the only way you can do it. I would focus on the companies that have turned a profit. At least they can execute and turn a profit. Technology changes every industry. Every market evolves and never stops evolving. So technology, you can take riskier bets, or investments on companies with next generation technologies. But what I'd warn against that is that it's one thing to make the statements that you have great technology. It's another thing to have third-party validation and third-party credibility behind it. And if you're gonna invest in any technology, make sure that there is third-party validation, so that because people can say what they want to say, it's can they do it is usually typically based around if somebody is an expert in that industry and somebody else has checked them out and vetted them and says, yeah, they can do this. So Biomedican, we opened up a very, very small WeFunder campaign just so the little guys could invest. So if you want to check us out on WeFunder, you can check us out at Biomedican, on WeFunder, but we're only taking in a very small amount of money. Typically, individual investors don't get an opportunity to invest in companies like us as a small guy. So against everybody else's advice, we opened it up anyways.
Hey, and what? So you're not publicly traded. You're doing private investing.
Traded.
Okay.
We're private. We'll go public sometime next year. So hopefully at a much higher price than what we have on WeFunder, which is $4.50 a share.
Mrs. Weedman, Mrs. Weedman,
I'm on it.
She's
I'm
on
looking.
it right now. She's looking right now. So 450 a share for early investors. It's not a public traded company. So somebody like myself who's just I don't make a lot of money and I can afford 450 a share. Basically,
it's $250 is the minimum investment. We've had guys invest as much as 100,000, but 250, and up, whatever that people can spare, whatever that they think is prudent for them to invest.
So,
and we have a ton of information on our website. We've had over 50 articles published on us, everywhere from Forbes, Bloomberg. We've been on Bloomberg Radio, NASDAQ, Reuters. All the major cannabis publications have covered us. So we've been vetted. We've got some credibility out there, and you can see all that on our website. I've done tons of interviews, so you can take a look at what I put out in the public domain, and make a decision for yourself if this is something for you. And if you're interested, you can always email me too. Just hit the contact info at our website, and I can follow up with anybody. Even if you're a small investor, I'm happy to spend a little time.
Sweet.
That's awesome. And you became from that area, so you know how it all works in some ways.
Right?
Yeah. Investing.
We're hoping to go public next year between $12 to $15 a share, but we're just hoping for that. There's no guarantees in any way, shape, or form. But I wouldn't have wasted 2 years of my life doing this if I didn't think it was a big winner. I mean, I have a lot more options of things I could do besides this, and
this is a lot more fun, I bet, though.
Oh, for sure. I mean, but just like growing any small company is just painful. It's a roller coaster ride. It's the best at times. It's the worst at times.
And then a couple of loop-de-loops in there too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're giving us some of the challenges. What are some of the challenges coming your way?
Yeah, this is all execution risk. Can we do this on a large scale basis? We do have 4 PhDs on our team. Our CEO is an expert on genetics and biosynthesis. We've got research partnerships with 4 major universities: the Institute of Genetics in Moscow, the Imperial College London, Denmark Technical University, and Delaware University here in the United States. And we've used dozens of their PhDs to help us develop this technology. And we have experts on our team that have built multiple biosynthesis plants. But the real risk here is that, can we do it in large scale, and how quickly can we get into large scale production? Because the sooner that we can make that happen, this is a grand slam investment. If it takes us a year or 2 years, then it's not so much. So I'm just that's the true challenges, and we're 100% confident that we're going to be able to do this. We're going to be able to be in large scale production second half of next year, and if that does happen, I think we're all people that invest will be very, very happy.
Man, that's great. Well, yeah. I mean, you've given us some great information, and I mean, I think it's great. I'm very highly intrigued. I like I said, I'm for me to be a true believer, I have to try the product.
Okay, not a problem, man. We'll get you some out. Yeah,
that's
give me about a month. That we've got all these people in front of you that are global distribution partners that need product first.
Wait, Mr. Weedman,
I just want a little taste. I know. Just a little sample.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
Just a little syringe of each, just like RSO. You put a little syringe of each. I'll be your taste tester. I'll promote your product for you.
Well, what I want you to do is I want you to take it about 2 hours before we do our next show.
I'll
be lit and ready to go.
No, because it's got no THC in it. You might.
No, right? You'll just be sleepy and mellow.
I'll be slumping.
You'll be chill though.
I'll be falling over in the chair going, Dennis.
Is this CBN?
I would only do it if we all did it. All for one, one for all.
Sure. Yeah, for sure. Not a problem.
Oh, Dennis, it's been great having you on, brother. I really appreciate you.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're in Chi-Town, so we'll definitely got to hook up one of these days.
Absolutely. That's all I got to say.
Great.
Mrs. Weedman, you got anything else to ask Dennis?
No, I just want to learn more. It's great. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
take a look at the website. Biomedican. It's got a lot of really, really detailed information on that. And if you have any questions, just fill out the contact sheet, and we'll follow up with you for sure, and we'll get you any answers that you need.
Excellent.
Nice. Anything else you want to plug before I say goodbye?
No, that's it. I've plugged enough.
Nice. Well, we appreciate you being on the show, Mrs. Weedman. You know what? Thank you, everybody, for listening around the world. We appreciate you. 50,000 we hit. Thank you so much, everybody. We really appreciate you sharing this show with everybody and getting everyone to listen around the world, from New Zealand to Australia to England to Central America, South America, Canada, all over the world. Thank you much. Peace be with you all out there. We need it right now. Stay safe. Please be kind to everybody. And I love you all. As Paulie always says, smoke smart, puff, puffing away.
Puff, puff, pass.